Hi everyone. Today I'm going to take you through the case study of Encyclopedia Britannica against Wikipedia. Before moving to this case study, I would request everyone watching this video to subscribe 5 Minutes Learning channel in YouTube. Now let's move to the case study. Wikipedia is operated by the Wikimedia Foundation, which is a non-profit organization that runs a total of 16 projects aimed at providing free, objective educational content to the public. It was started in the year 2001. Wikipedia is a free online open knowledge platform that contains over 24 million articles published in an array of topics in 284 languages. It is a platform that brings together those who wish to acquire knowledge and those who wish to share their knowledge. The value of the Wikipedia platform is in its scale, that is, the number of articles, and in the quality of the information that is provided on these pages. The company derives its revenue from donations. In the year 2014, 2.5 million people, that is less than 5% of Wikipedia readers, contributed to a total of $50 million. Most of this revenue is funneled into managing the organization's web properties, investing in engineering infrastructure and apps, and capacity building of the Wikimedia community. The company is focusing current efforts on enhancing tools for existing editors and on increasing access and diversity of content through initiatives such as the Wikipedia Zero project, which offers the site free of access charges. Anonymous volunteer contributors create the articles and content for Wikipedia sites. The volunteers are not compensated or formally incentivized, and there are very few limitations on the type of articles they can create or edit. The relatively small number of individuals are responsible for the vast majority of article edits, with 70,000 contributors working on more than 35 million articles. In addition to creating new web pages, these contributors are constantly updating and editing existing articles. Contributors are the primary drivers of content growth and crowd regulate the quality of the content. These contributors are most likely than non-contributors to become donors to Wikipedia. There are no prerequisites or level of expertise required to become a contributor to Wikipedia. However, contributions must adhere to the organization policies around the neutrality and verifiability of information. Contributors who routinely violate these policies are blocked or banned from editing. In the year 2015, Wikipedia banned 381 accounts for violating its policies around creating and editing content. Although the community is largely allowed to operate autonomously, a few hundred administrators are granted special governing privileges that they use to enforce good behavior and arbitrate content disputes. The company has both formal and informal dispute resolution process managed by volunteers and internal staff. Wikimedia Foundation has both engineering and product teams tasked with streaming and improving the platform's software and editing tools. There are two main methods of editing. One is Wiki Markup and the Visual Editor. The Wiki Markup is accessible by clicking on an edit button on the article requiring editing. Editors are then taken to a new page and can edit the content using the wiki text language. The second option is more user-friendly. It enables users to edit pages they land on directly and requires no knowledge of a new language or code. This engineering innovation makes content editing more accessible, enables Wikipedia to attract a diverse set of contributors, and results in better content quality and robustness. Public policy concerns are a very real risk to the Foundation's business model, as it affects the quality of the Wikipedia community and the web pages the community create. Because of this, a primary goal of the foundation and its significant legal advocacy staff is to shape policies around access, censorship, copyright, and privacy that directly threaten quality of the Wikipedia community and platform. This illustrates how the operational model of the company is leveraged to sustain its competitive advantage of providing high-quality information. In case of Encyclopedia Britannica, the first 200 years editorial revisions were made with a variety of manual and mechanical tools. Preparing new editions took years at first. Then in 1970s, the content of the encyclopedia were loaded onto a mainframe computer to streamline the process of making annual updates. The editors and executives recognized that although digitization would make updating more efficient for print, it was only a matter of time before the medium of publication itself would be digital. And that would represent a threat to the way they did business, which is selling multi-volume encyclopedias to families door to door. So in the 1980s, they began preparing themselves for the future by experimenting with digital technologies and even publishing the first electronic encyclopedias. Meanwhile, sales of the print version grew throughout the decade, and in the year 1990, the company's overall business peaked. 2,000 plus salespeople sold more than 1 lakh units of the iconic bound set in the United States. In the following years, the encyclopedia business collapsed. The sales model started breaking down in 1991 as families became busier and had less patience for doorstep solicitations. Also, home PCs started coming up with built-in CD-ROM drives. The effect of CD-ROMs on the encyclopedia business can't be overstated. In 1994, Britannica produced its own CD-ROM encyclopedia. It was originally priced at $1,200, as same as the bound set. But by then, Microsoft was bundling its CD-ROM encyclopedia, which is Encarta, with majority of Intel computers to increase the sales of home PCs by positioning them as a learning tool and a homework helper. Regardless of quality, it was hard for a $1,200 CD-ROM to compete with a free one bundled with PC. That same year, the company introduced Britannica Online, a web-based version of the Encyclopedia Britannica, and the first such reference work on the internet. Digital sales rose, but slowly print sales fell off. From more than 1 lakh units in 1990, sales fell to 51,000 in 1994 and just 3,000 units sold in the year 1996. The direct sales force of Encyclopedia Britannica was the wrong channel for selling the CD-ROM encyclopedia. The Britannica direct sales force was at the center of the business structure. Most of the company revenue came from this door-to-door army, which started fading out across the world. This sales method had become obsolete, so the company decided to abandon it and adopt other forms of direct marketing. As Britannica changed their sales focus to direct marketing, they tested price points on the CD-ROM encyclopedia and realized that their original price was too high. Like many content producers, they had assigned a value to their product based on content and production cost. But customers were changing. They could get good enough content for much lesser price or sometimes free. Within months, Britannica dropped the price from $1,200 to less than $1,000, then to $150, and eventually to less than $100. Though they were headed in the right direction, their CD-ROM business was still problematic because margin continued to be thin in the competition against the free Encarta. During this period, there was one thing that they didn't do, was reducing the editorial investment. Then internet access exploded. As expected, the biggest threat to the company and the CD-ROM itself was disrupted by online access. When Wikipedia was launched, the Wikipedia's articles, contributors, and visitors skyrocketed in numbers, and the Google search algorithm continued to reward the site with the top placement. This was another game changer for Encyclopedia Britannica. Wikipedia's success reinforced the strategic decision to reduce reliance on customer reference and accelerate activity in the K-12 market. Like many disruptive innovation, Wikipedia was of lower quality, but consumers didn't care about that because Wikipedia has a vast number of entries and it has easy and free access. Instead of getting caught up in the competition with Wikipedia, they focused on editorial quality with Britannica Online and used Wikipedia's quantity over quality approach and its chronic unreliability as differentiators in their favor. The content available via Britannica and Encyclopedia.com websites is viewed as extremely high quality, though is not fully free. For example, Britannica offers both a limited and free ad-based version and a more complete offering and tailored products available by subscription. Britannica's operating model relies on small groups of editors to create and monitor content, which results in a much more limited selection of content that is covered. Britannica's target audience is also focused on educators and libraries, much narrower than the target audience of Wikipedia. At the end, 244-year-old Britannica stopped its print edition in the year 2012. Thank you everyone for watching this video. See you soon with another interesting case study. For more such interesting case studies, please visit 5 Minutes Learning channel in YouTube.